Hi, everybody, and welcome to this Lunch and Learn session. I'm Robin Aitken, Product Manager for EasyAsk, and really appreciate your time today, where we're going to be looking at boosting and burying products. A little bit of admin. As I said, I'm Robin, I'm Product Manager here. We're going to try and keep this webinar very short, about 20 minutes plus any time for questions. We do value your time. We know you're very busy. If you do have any questions, please type them in the question box, which is on the GoToWebinar screen. And Matt, my colleague, will monitor them and make sure that they get answered right at the very end. So let's look first of all at what boost and bury is. It's a term that's often used by marketing folks when they want to boost or promote products for whatever reason. Sometimes they want to do the opposite. That's what the term bury refers to. And as a storefront customer, you have an EasyAsk search engine, and EasyAsk is controlling the search results and the order of those results, and also the order of the products on your category screens. But that default order might not match exactly your business requirements. And so EasyAsk has a facility called Business Rules that allows you to bump products up or push products down within the context of the products being relevant to whatever has been asked for. So examples showing more profitable items first. It's an obvious thing to want to do, and that's what we would refer to as a boost rule. Or the opposite. Maybe you've got products that have got missing images, and I know that happens with a lot of customers, and so you would probably want to push those down the order so that they're not at the top of the screen with a missing image message. The rules that you can create can have different lifespans. So we would typically have what we would call long-term rules and short-term rules. So, for example, your business may want to always show certain things first. If you have your own brand, for example, and I know many of you do, it's typical that you always want your own brand products to show above the other brands that you sell in the context of what the user is looking for. So that's what we would class as a long-term objective. It's never going to change. You always want your own brand product shown first. Short-term rules may relate to campaigns that you're running. Maybe you're doing some offer on a range of products, but it has a limited time span. So you just want to do it for a few weeks. And so, those are what we would call short-term rules. And typically, when your system is set up, you would set up the long-term rules, and then the short-term rules would come from time to time. And short-term rules also are useful for taking advantage of situations that change. The obvious example is showing COVID products first, and many of our customers have got rules set up where they're pushing the latex gloves, the hand sanitizer, and so on. And of course that originally was going to be a short-term rule. Turns out it's longer term than most people thought. And the rules can have relative weights or priorities. And the way that EasyAsk business rules work is that they identify products that you want to promote, and they do that through the EasyAsk natural language query system. And when a product that is in the results matches a business rule, then its business rule score is increased. And if it matches several business rules, then its business rule score is going to be increased multiple times, thereby effectively increasing that score. And that score, by the way, is used in the ranking, which I'll show you in just a moment. The amount by which a product score is increased depends on the weight. And so products that match the higher weight rules or the higher priority rules will increase their score more, and thereby will perform or appear further up the results than those products that match lower weight scores. And obviously products that don't match any rules will have a score of 0. The increments that are used for the business rule score weights are on the screen now. So we go from a weight of very low through to very high, and those go up by a factor of 10 starting at 1. So it's 1, 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. And what this means is that you can have multiple rules at the same weight, but a single rule at the level above would effectively trump those other scores. So it allows you to create layers in your rule system, and to have higher priority and lower priority rules. So this business rule score is calculated when easyask has retrieved products, whether that is through pulling back all the products for a category, or whether it's processing a user query. easyask has got a set of products, and it processes them and calculates the business rule score for those products. Now, by default, easyask is ranking the products by relevance. So the most relevant products to the query will be at the top of the results. But in many cases, in some cases, it's always there are multiple products that are top relevance or equal relevance. So you will have if I search for a drill on a tool store, I may have 30 drills. They're all equally relevant, and so easyask has to decide, what order should we pass back those 30 drills in. And that's where the business rule score comes in, because where relevance is equal, then we will use the business rule score to sort the products. Let's just have a look at an example of that. So I've got 7 products in my results, in position 1 through 7. As you can see, we've got relevant scores, but we've got some which are at 100% and some are at 50%. And what order do we choose for these products that are equally relevant? Well, as you can see, it's the business rule score. So by increasing the business rule score, we are automatically pushing, in this case, the Sony DSLR to the top, because it got a score of 7, and the next one down only got a score of 6, and so on. Notice that even though the item in position 5 got a business rule score of 8, it's not top of the results because it's not as relevant as the other product. So relevance is always the most important calculation, if you like, that easyask does. And then where products are equally relevant, the business rule score can be used. And we sometimes refer to this as kind of results relevance and business relevance, because easyask has calculated the relevance score, the results relevance, based on which words are matching, where they are matching, and so on. The business relevance is based on rules that you, the business, can set up to say, this brand is more important than that brand, or these products are more important than these products. With that, I'm going to jump into a demonstration. And what I'm showing you now is the easyask Studio. And easyask Studio is the tool that many of our customers have, which allows them to control the way in which easyask operates on your site. And one of the nice things about the Studio is within it, I have this little preview application, which is on the screen at the moment. And this preview application allows me to do anything such as click on categories, perform searches, and so on. And it will show me the results in exactly the same order as they would appear on your storefront site. So this is a preview of exactly what will appear on your site, even though it doesn't look like that. And it's a very nice feature. It means that we can test things in Studio. We can look at the results. We can play with the system. And when we're happy, we can say, okay, let's go live with that. So we're looking at a kind of Best Buy type store. It's a kind of home electricals products type application here. And as you can see, I'm looking at cameras at the moment. And but one of the things, and I mentioned this earlier, one of the things that many of our customers have is their own brand, and they want to always promote their own brand above the other products. So I'm going to show you an example of doing that. Obviously, I don't have my own brand in this set of data, but let's just say that my own brand is Sony. And so if I do a search for example, for a digital SLR camera, and what you will see is that I've got Canon cameras, I've got Nikon, more Canon, and so on. But I'm not seeing any Sony, and that's because of the kind of default sort order, and they happen to be further down the list. So in order to change that, I'm going to go to our business rules section. And it's this screen that allows me to set up these rules that will alter the business rule score, which will then affect the order of these products. So I'm going to add a rule, and I'm going to call it Boost Sony. And the search is an easy ask natural language search. Now this is very powerful. I could put all sorts of things in here. In this case, it's a fairly simple search where I'm simply saying manufacturer Sony. And as I talked about the weights, I'm going to set this one to low simply so that it trumps those other rules that are already there. I also mentioned that we can have short-term rules, long-term rules, and so on. As you can see, I've got an event drop down here. The default is always, which means this rule will always be operable. And I can choose other events if I wish. Now, an event is simply a named period of time. So as you can see, I've got an event set up for Easter 2021. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to set this to always. But if we did associate a rule with an event, then it will only have any effect when that event is live. So if I just add that and I close, one of the other nice things about Studio is whenever we create a query, which is what we have here, if I click on it here, I will see a preview of all the matching products at the bottom of the screen. So I can see that I've got 310 Sony products. They're at the bottom of the screen now. I'm not going to scroll through them all, obviously. Lots of headphones, but obviously Sony make cameras as well. So hopefully this will reflect the order within cameras as well. So I'm just going to synchronize the index because Easy Ask indexes everything to make it very fast, and just quickly save the changes there. And now if I come back to my preview and I do the search for DSLR again, now as you can see, we're seeing the Sony DSLR products at the top. So we've achieved exactly what we wanted to achieve, which is to push our own brand, if you like, even though this is a dummy brand. Our own brand products are appearing in the context of what is asked for. So obviously in this case, it's only in the context of a digital SLR camera. Now, one of the other great features within Studio is the ability to see a bit more about this data. If I click on this tab titled HTML and I just refresh that search by clicking on it, I'm seeing the same set of results that I was seeing in that little application, but I'm seeing much more information. It's still interactive, but in addition to the product data, I'm seeing some internal easy ask information. So I'm seeing the relevance score. As you can see, all of these products on this first page are 100% relevant. And so easy ask has looked at the business rule score. Now it's referred to here as EA weight, but this is the business rule score. And as you can see, the first few products have actually got a score of 10, whereas the other ones have got a score of 0. And the reason they've got a score of 10 is because of the rule, which is highlighted in the next column. I can see that the boost Sony rule, which is the rule I just created, because of the weighting I had set, means that any Sony product, manufacturer Sony, has caused this score to be incremented by 10, thereby pushing it to the top of all the equally relevant products. Okay, let's have a look at another example. I'm going to do a search for something slightly different. I'm just going to search for digital camera. And now you'll notice that I'm seeing some cameras here. I've got a couple of Sony cameras, but I'm also seeing memory cards and other what I would class as accessory type products. And this is a common problem for many of you, I know, that when somebody is searching for a product, because the accessory mentions the same terminology as in the main product, you start to see those products filling up the results. And as a business, when somebody searches for a digital camera, what we want to do is show them a screen full of digital cameras, not memory cards, cases, and other accessories. Another example I came across with a customer very recently was when somebody was looking for a drill. They were seeing the drills, but they were also seeing all the batteries. They were also seeing drill bits and all sorts of other kind of accessory type products. So we have a solution for that, again, using business rules. And what I'm going to do is create a rule which effectively does the opposite of boosting the products. We call it burying the products. So we push them down the order so that the real products that we want to see will appear first. So let's just have a look at that. I'm going to create a new rule. Let's call this bury accessories. And I'm just going to say here, category path, accessories. And what this means is we're looking for the word accessories in the category path of the products that are in the results. And if we find it, then in this case, we would increase the score. And if I click on add and I close, and now I just preview that, you can see I've got 2,331 accessory type products. These are products that exist within a category that's got accessories in the name. Now, I actually don't want to boost these products, so I'm going to do something which is going to reverse this completely. I'm going to put the word not in front, and I'm just going to wrap the definition of those products in parentheses to say I want to effectively reverse all of this query. This is a feature of the Easy Ask query language that you can use words like and, or, and not, which makes it very, very powerful. And now notice that the preview is saying we've got 6,314 products, which is the rest of the product. So what we're effectively doing is boosting everything that isn't an accessory. And if I just synchronize the index again and come back and do that search again, the digital camera search, now we're seeing what the business would like people to see when they do this type of search. We're seeing digital cameras. We're not seeing the accessories. The accessories are still there. They're going to be down on later pages in the results. And obviously, because Easy Ask is generating the subcategory filters for this as well, as you can see, we do have digital camera accessories as an option for people to zoom in on. And this doesn't mean that people can't find the memory cards. If I do a search for digital camera memory, then I am going to see the right products. And that's because these products now have a higher relevance score. And so the fact that they're accessories doesn't matter. The higher relevance is more important than the business rule score. So hopefully that's given you a good idea about the sort of things that you can do. Obviously, those queries were fairly straightforward. We would recommend when you're putting business rules together that you give us a call. We're more than happy to jump on a call with you and talk about how we can help you to get your business rules set up exactly right so that you're seeing the right products on every single screen. And obviously, when you do that, you're going to maximize the benefit in terms of converting customers by showing them that those types of screens. So with that, I just wanted to mention Easy Ask Direct, which is a program that we have for our Storefront customers. It's available to all Storefront customers, and customers that sign up for Easy Ask Direct get the advantage of having Easy Ask Studio. They have access to our support team. We're able to help them out with training, with what we call concierge calls, and many other things. We'll make sure that you're getting the right studio analytics and so on. Matt's going to speak in just a moment. I know he's got a very interesting offer for those of you that are on this webinar. But I would recommend at least talking to us about this, because we can transform your business by setting up your Easy Ask optimally and making sure you've got the latest versions of everything. And with that, I think, Matt, we're going to jump into questions.
Yeah, great. And guys, if you have questions, please send them in. We got a couple sent in already. The first question is, so this particular customer thinks they might need a lot of rules, and they're wondering if there's a limit to how many rules you can set up through Easy Ask.
I'll go ahead and answer that one. This is Don Harris. It's an interesting point, or an interesting question. First of all, there's no real limit, no physical limit, or at least not one that we'd ever hit or you'd likely ever hit. That's the first point. But the question about the number of rules is interesting, because what we tend to find is that really a page worth, a dozen, maybe even a half dozen or so rules can really order the products from a business relevancy perspective very well. Now, you might have others that Robin mentioned regarding some of the events or something of that nature, but again, even those aren't going to be much in numbers. So the main point is that there really shouldn't be the need to have a lot of rules. It's just, also when you get them right, they tend to be fairly static, the business rules, but you can always tweak them at some point. The other part about the number that I find interesting is that anytime you see yourself in studio doing things a lot of times, a lot of repetitivity, you're typing in a lot of every search word that someone might possibly come up with, not outside of business rules, but I'm just talking about general uses of studio. if there's ever a time that you're find yourself doing something a lot, there's a lot of maintenance, that really is a good time to perhaps have contact us, let us see what you're doing. It may be that you're doing it just right, and that's just the way it is, but it's unlikely. It's likely that there are a lot of other techniques that you could use, and also it's possible that there could be a feature of the product that we might want to enhance or something. But the main point is that we're not really expecting you to have a lot of entries, on a numeric basis. So.
Thank you, Don. Next question, Robin. This pertains to part of the demonstration you did. So he said, what if I don't want to boost all of Sony's products, but just certain products like their memory cards?
Right. Yeah. In the demonstration that I just showed you, I specifically was kind of emulating, promoting our own brand, which so I simply said manufacturer equals, and that's going to promote all of the products that have that manufacturer. But the query that you put into that business rule can be as simple or as complex as you wish. So we could extend that. In fact, I'll just jump in. Let's just jump in here. So for example, I search for digital camera memory here, and as you can see, we're seeing all the Sony products at the top. Now, if this was our own brand, that's probably what you want. But let's just say we wanted to limit our rule to only promote the Sony digital cameras, not all the other stuff. Because also, in other parts of this catalog, there are headphones, there are TVs, and other things which are made by the same manufacturer. So I could go to this business rule, and instead of saying I want to boost all Sony products, I want to boost Sony products, but only those that match the category that has got the name. Let's say, let's just lay that out a bit better. Digital cameras. So here, what I've done is just made the query a little bit more focused. So instead of just all of Sony, I'm saying it's only products that match being Sony and being in the category digital cameras. And if I, again, just synchronize things and save, and just do that search again, say digital camera memory. Now, we are seeing some Sony products, but they're there for other reasons. As you can see, I've got other manufacturers now. Whereas if I did search for a digital camera, I'm still seeing the Sony there. So I'm promoting just the digital cameras in this case. And it's quite common, especially our storefront customers, to have certain products that they want to that they want to always boost. And what we recommend is that you describe those products, if you like, in terms of how they're described themselves, whether it's through the category or whether it's some attribute like the manufacturer. We have seen customers that like to be very specific and say, I want to promote product number 123 or product ID X. That will work very well, but we would say that's not really best practice, because as soon as you start specifying specific products in rules, then that rule becomes very static. The beauty of specifying things that are based on a category or an attribute like manufacturer is, these Sony digital cameras, which are currently being promoted, is a dynamic set. So if we add a new product tomorrow, which is a Sony digital camera, it will automatically get promoted. If I'm using product IDs in a kind of list or something like that, then those products might go out, so they're no longer sold. You may get new ones in to replace them that have got a slightly different product ID. So it means that there's more maintenance. It's not so dynamic. So best practice is always to use rules that that use attributes, categories, or keywords to identify the products. I hope that answers the question, Matt.
Thank you, Robin. And last question, if anyone else has any others, we got time to send them in. If I don't have EasyAsk Merchandising Studio, how would I control boosting and burying products on the product results page?
Right. So if you're not currently licensed to use Studio, I'd recommend talking to us, because part of the direct program means that you would get that, and it's a very cheap way to get hold of that. But also, we can talk around various other options that we have in order to help you. So I would certainly recommend, if you're not a Studio user or you don't have a license, certainly get in touch with us. And I think Matt's going to be sending something out after this webinar to everyone, so you can respond to that, or you can get in touch through our contact details, which will be on a slide in just a moment.
All right, thank you, Robin and Don. That is it for questions right now. I don't have any other ones coming in. And I want to thank everyone who has attended this webinar. We do appreciate your time, but we want to take this past just viewing a webinar. We want you to get actively involved in taking control of your B2B site. And to that end, we encourage you to reach out to us after this webinar is finished to schedule a free 30-minute session where we take a look into your site with you. It's the first step to making dramatic changes to your site's capabilities, and it is well worth your time. And of course, we're happy to schedule a concierge call to help you with boosting and burying products with your direct product set. This is part of our Lunch and Learn series. Our next Lunch and Learn webinar will be Tuesday, February 9th, and it will be on what is the ideal category structure, kind of breaking down the differences between categories and attributes. So again, thank you guys for your time, and to be able to reach out to us for any questions, my email, Robin's email, Don's emails are right here on the slide for you guys to take a look at. Any general questions, please reach out to me at mattb@easyask.com, and I will make sure to get you in touch with the right person. So again, thank you guys very much for your time. We appreciate it, and we hope to be talking with you very soon to help you guys really take advantage of your B2B site.
Thank you, everybody.